Stock market and SoFi investors, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. In today's episode, we're going to discuss whether or not SoFi stock is a buy or kind of wait and see at these particular levels. SoFi had a great day today, bouncing back from the sell-off over the last couple of days. We were down 16% at one point. I'm going to give you my overall outlook and some things that could be very interesting for SoFi stock moving forward, and discuss what I'm doing with my shares. Am I selling? Am I buying more? Am I holding pat? Stick around for the video. All right, all my SoFi and stock market investors, if you could do me a huge favor before we get into the video, hit that like button. It does really help us get into YouTube's algorithm. And if you want more stock market and SoFi updates, please consider subscribing to the channel. And there's a new feature on your iPhones, that hype button, that really helps us get into that algorithm as well. So if you got that feature on your phone, make sure you smash that as well, guys. If you take a look at your screen right now, SoFi had a really nice day today, up over 6%. We shot up huge, almost to $29, and we went all the way back to $26.80, then up to $28.16. The stock doesn't know really where it wants to go right now, man. But like over the last month, kind of been a roller coaster ride here. 6 months, crushing it, guys. Up 185% over the last 6 months. Year to date, almost up 100%. And over the last year, woo, baby, 240% up on your money. That is amazing gains for all you SoFi investors out there. But we've got to take things with a grain of salt sometimes. The PE ratio creeping up over 57 is pretty hot right now, guys. Market cap over 30 billion, closing in around $33 billion today. So what am I doing with my shares? Between all of my accounts, I own about like 5,200 shares overall, right? So I want to talk about some news that SoFi released in the past week that could be huge for the stock moving forward. Some other news that was released months ago that hasn't come to fruition yet, and why I potentially think that this stock has sold off over the last, few trading days. Over the last month, we saw the peak here on Monday, September 22nd. The 52-week high coming in at $30.30, right? And we sold off for a little while, down about 16%. We had a huge, jump up today in the shares. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is why I think the shares have been selling off, right? SoFi short interest over time. The optics of this don't look great, right? So if we take a look from 2021 all the way up to 2025, $3 billion as of September 15th. This is the most up-to-date chart that I could find on the internet right now. There's been some changes over the last 3 weeks. The short interest is continuing to peak up a little bit for sure, right? But $3 billion, that is a lot of short interest dollar-wise. But if we take a look at the short percentage of the float, it's really not that bad, right? Back in 2021, 2022, early, 23% we peaked at short percentage of the float. That's a crazy number, guys. And then we came down to around 9%, back up a little bit in that 19% range. We've been pretty stable over the last year and a half in that 12% range, and we've seen a dip down, and then we've seen that flash up right there, guys. So as long as we can keep the short interest under around 12 or 13%, I think the stock price should be pretty stable. We do have earnings coming up in the next couple of weeks, guys, and whether they hit or miss is really going to impact where the stock moves forward, right? And now I want to give you some reasons why I have some optimism for SoFi at these particular price points. The PE ratio in the 50s is a little high, right? If we look at the trajectory of the stock overall and the history of everything that's been going on, right? The market cap back in June of 2024 was only $7 billion. It's over 30 now. So we've seen quite the run up. The forward PE at 47 is pretty high, right? Trailing PE in the 50s. So definitely something we have to, take into consideration. And the total debt has been increasing. Cash $2 billion, total debt 4.09 billion. But if you look at banks overall, they usually carry a hefty debt load. So this ratio isn't great, but some banks are a lot worse than SoFi currently is, right? So this is definitely a little scary when you see the short interest by billions of dollars, but the percentage of the float in that 9-ish% range, we got to keep our close eye on that. Now, for the optimism, guys, this came back out in June 25th, where the future of financial services, SoFi to offer members new crypto-enabled capabilities to get their money right. Helping members send money across borders faster and cheaper than ever. This is great. And they're going to use blockchains to be able to distribute those funds across borders very, very, very cheap and efficiently, right? More than $93 billion in remittances were sent abroad in the United States in 2023, according to the World Bank, right? So it's going to be easily over $100 billion today. And if they take fractional fees, from, their share of that, it's going to be a great revenue stream for them, right? There's all different types of ways to send money, right? SoFi offered stablecoins once they're available, self-serve international money transfers once they're available, ACH, self-service wires, person-to-person payments, and Zelle, all the different capabilities that SoFi enables and has for their members, right? Crypto investing is making a comeback, right? Being able to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum. It hasn't launched yet on the platform, right? So we don't know when that's going to happen. Is it going to be later in the fall, November, December, or are they going to roll it out early next year? I'm guessing we'll have to see what Anthony Noto has to say in the most current earnings report. He'll probably give us a clearer picture of when that could potentially happen. Then being a bank, there's some things they got to shore up before they put them on the platform for us to be able to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So they're mirroring kind of what Robinhood's doing right now, and they have a lot more capabilities with, them having that bank charter, right? Something that Robinhood is eventually probably going to pursue, in my opinion, right? And some chunk of news that just came out last week, huge, is SoFi launches options level 1 to help members pursue risk-adjusted strategies, right? Level 1 options are a great tool for investors, right? So SoFi members approved for options trading will be able to access options level 1 strategies, including covered calls and cash secure puts, in addition to options level 2 strategies already available. So there's level 1 options, right? Being able to sell covered calls. And if you're unaware what a covered call is, say you have 100 shares of a stock. You need 100 shares because every contract is 100 shares. And say you have 100 SoFi shares and you want to make a little extra premium. You could sell a cover call at a specific strike date and a specific strike price. So say next week you want to sell a covered call at $30 for SoFi shares. So that means next Friday, you have to sell your SoFi shares at $30 if it goes over that. If it's below that, you just get to keep the little premium that you get in the options 1 strategy. You get to keep the premium either way. But if it goes over $30, even if it runs to $40, you have to sell your shares at $30. That is the risk, right? And cash secured puts, say you want to buy SoFi, but you think it's a little rich right now, you could put up the collateral for 100 shares. So say you want to buy it at $26 in 2 or 3 weeks from now. You put up the $2,600, so 100 shares times the 26 per share stock price. And that way, if the stock goes below $26, then you get to buy it at $26. The risk is if it goes to $20 by next week, then you still got to buy it at $26. And that's how the other side of the strategy makes money. But if it stays above $26, you'll just get to keep the premium. It's a great strategy to collect premium weekly, monthly, every 6 months, once a year, whatever strategy you want. So this ability is great for different types of traders, right? And as of right now, there's no contract fees and no commissions, but over time, I expect them to add small fees for them to make some money, but they're going to want people to go over to the platform. So right now, they're offering no commissions, no contracts fees, which is amazing, right? Because over time, if you sell a lot of contracts, those fees add up and add up and add up. And it says it will be available to all eligible members in the coming weeks. So probably by the end of October, everyone on the SoFi platform will be able to use these option level 1 strategies. I sell a ton of covered calls. That's one of my favorite strategies to get reoccurring revenue on the shares that I own. I also sell cash secured puts, and I do straddles where you do both sides of the coin, guys. I think these different types of things that are going on the SoFi platform, from crypto with Bitcoin and Ethereum and other different kinds of coins, and then we got the options level 1, these are great things. We're not going to see profits from them right away, but down the road, it's just more income streams for SoFi. And I like SoFi stock. I liked it better when I was at 25. I was accumulating more shares in that $25 range. It shot up today. I would like to see the stock price stabilize a little bit rather than the huge ebbs and flows. But I think 25 bucks and below is where I'm acquiring shares of SoFi. I think 30 bucks is a little rich. At $30 per share, we're looking at like a 35, 36, 37 billion dollar market cap. That's a little rich with the PE probably in the 60s there. I think that's a little rich, especially price to book wise. So be careful in what you're doing. These are the strategies I'm kind of implementing right now. I've been selling a ton of puts on SoFi stock, those cash secured puts in my Schwab account. But maybe at some point I move my brokerage over to SoFi. We'll have to see how the platform looks and how easily it is to use as we move forward, guys. For me, I like where SoFi's at. I like the business model. I think long term, whenever we see a 15% sell-off, that's a time to start acquiring shares. We got the 15% sell-off, and that's where I was acquiring different types of shares. Remember, this is not financial advice, just showing you guys and explaining to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. If you want more SoFi updates, more stock market updates, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Peace.